Sometimes the most profound stories are about the simplest things. In this case, it's a story about a vow, a promise of peace, and some pretty radical discipline, all symbolized by a single, worn-out piece of cloth. Let's really dig into what that means. Okay, let me just ask you this straight up. What if you gave up your bed for 13 years? I mean, really think about that. What if all your little comforts just vanished tomorrow? No soft bed, no favorite meals. What part of you would still be unshaken? It's a challenging thought, right? But for some people, this isn't a hypothetical. It's a choice. So this is Venerable Phaya Tambu, a Thai forest monk. And for 13 years straight, he hasn't slept lying down. Can you imagine? He only rests sitting up. Doesn't matter if he's in a temple or just out under the stars. And get this, for more than a decade, he has worn this one single outer robe. Just one. It's been patched up over and over again, but he just refuses to replace it. So, in his entire 16 years as a monk, and we're talking about journeys from the cold Himalayas all the way to walking barefoot across America, he has only ever used 3 sets of robes. 3. In total. So this all leads to a pretty obvious question, right? Is this some kind of profound spiritual practice, or is it just punishment? I mean, it is totally natural to look at this and think, isn't that self-torture, or maybe he's just some kind of stunt performer? But the answer to that question, well, it gets to the absolute heart of his spiritual path. And this is where we have to make a really crucial distinction. See, Buddhism teaches this idea of a middle way, which is all about avoiding both extremes. So no over-the-top indulgence, but also no inflicting pain on yourself. The goal here is absolutely not to punish the body. It's to train the mind. By intentionally simplifying his life, he's actually just reducing his mind's dependence on comfort. And this practice actually has a name. It's called Dhutanga. And it's a really ancient art of spiritual training. So what are Dhutanga? Basically, they're voluntary practices you choose to do to reduce your dependence on comfort. The whole idea is to loosen the grip our cravings have on us so the mind can feel, well, lighter, more free. And there's a real logic to it, a clear path. First, you simplify your life. You cut down on all the external things that are constantly screaming for your attention. When you do that, you create space. Space to actually observe your own mind and its desires. With fewer distractions, you start to see yourself so much more clearly. And ultimately, you can find a kind of peace that doesn't depend on whether you're comfortable or not. And honestly, nothing illustrates this whole philosophy more powerfully than that old robe we talked about. It is so much more than just cloth. It's a living story. Another monk, Bhikkhu Panakara, he captured its meaning perfectly. He called the robe a living witness to a life of simplicity and letting go. So you see, it's not about the object itself, but what it symbolizes. Just think about it. Every single patch tells a story of enduring the sun, the rain, the mist, the wind, quiet years spent in the forest. Many of those patches even come from the old robes of other monks, which makes its uneven color a symbol of their community, their brotherhood. Its imperfection is its beauty. Tons of people have offered to give him a new robe, but he always refuses. In his own words, he says, "I have vowed to use this very robe until it can no longer be used." Wow, that's a statement of pure resolve. And that really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? The physical thing, the robe, it's temporary. It's gonna fall apart eventually. But the inner commitment, the vow itself, that endures. This all brings us to a really universal lesson here, one that applies to all of us, far beyond the life of a monk. And it's all about the freedom that can be found in having less. Now, letting go doesn't mean rejecting life. It's about releasing our attachment, that clinging we do to comfort, our demand that things have to go our way, and that belief that our happiness is just one more purchase away. And here lies the paradox. We're so often taught that growth means acquiring more things, more status, but this path suggests the exact opposite. True inner growth doesn't come from adding, it comes from letting go. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. In our own lives, when we feel exhausted or like we're always lacking something, could it be that what we truly need isn't more, but less?